Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. So last week, Season 1 of Marvel's newest X-Men TV series, The Gifted, ended its run on Fox, with the show being renewed for a second season before the first one even ended. We don't know much about Season 2 of The Gifted as of right now, just what we were left with. At the end of Season 1, quite a bit has happened. Campbell is seemingly dead, though there are some doubts about that. Jace Turner has resigned from Sentinel services. A pregnant Polaris has left the Mutant Underground to form the new Hellfire Club, with Andy Strucker splitting from his family to join with them. So, as usual, today I'm going to be going over 4 things I'd personally like to see happen in Season 2 of The Gifted once it hits Fox sometime this fall. I haven't actually made much videos on The Gifted before now, reviews or otherwise, and it's just because I've personally had some trouble getting interested in this show. It's not bad or anything, it's just, if I'm being completely honest, in my opinion, kind of generic, and at times a little boring. That's just my opinion though. There are a lot of things about The Gifted that just kind of feel like a missed opportunity, but there are a ton of enjoyable moments throughout Season 1 as well. And with this video being requested by a viewer, I figured what the hey. So let's get to it. 4. A quicker pace. Again, this is just my opinion. Like I said in my mini review a couple seconds ago, I personally found it a bit slow. And the reason why is just because they didn't really go much of anywhere. Most of Season 1 was spent in the Mutant Underground HQ with lots of subplots and stuff like that, and it just really slowed things down. In Season 2, I'd like to see the story take on more of a lively pace. Obviously, this is just me, of course. 3. Costumes. This probably won't happen, but I would love to see some costumes for the main characters in Season 2, namely Thunderbird, Blink, and Polaris. Eclipse could certainly get one too, but they'd have to design one from scratch, as he is an original character created just for the show. It's a little unlikely, it's hard to see how they'd even get these costumes, much less why they would, as they have no real in-world reason, but it's still something I'd kinda like to see. Marvel Television as a whole has this weird thing about giving characters actual costumes. The only really good ones so far are Daredevil, The Punisher, and Ghost Rider. Beyond that, there's occasionally some kinda bland, black, leathery stuff on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then there's the abominations that were on display in Inhumans. I've always found DC's CW shows to be kinda cheesy and uninteresting personally, but I will say that they are top-notch when it comes to the costume department, especially with Black Lightning. So basically, Marvel Television needs to step up their game here, and I think The Gifted is a good place to do it. 2. Big-name characters. The Gifted actually had a surprising amount of recognizable characters from the X-Men, but they're typically characters like Sage or Fenris, where you're like, oh yeah, I remember reading about them that one time. Polaris, Blink, and Thunderbird are pretty big ones though, but in Season 2, I'd like to see more recognizable X characters. A big one for me is the X Factor. I'd love to see them get their own TV show. Maybe The Gifted could serve as a backdoor pilot of sorts for that. But I do think they're perfect for this show. They'd fit right in. The Mutant Underground is on the run, so maybe they'll go to Mutant Town, New York, where they'll run into the X Factor. Just a thought. I'd also like to see more young mutants join up with the Underground. I could certainly see the likes of Husk, Armor, Cypher, Surge, characters like that. 1. A big name villain. One thing I personally felt like Season 1 was lacking was a real villain. Sure, we had the Sentinel services and the Hounds and all that, but in Season 2, I'd like to see more of a real villainous figure. The Hellfire Club is being set up for an interesting X-Men Brotherhood type dynamic, but I'd like to see something more. They've teased it a good bit with Season 1, but I'd like to see Bolivar Trask and Trask Industries take more of a center stage, with the Sentinels getting bigger and more threatening. Obviously, there's no telling if this show's budget can handle 18-foot robots shooting lasers, but I'd like to see them explore this further, maybe bringing on the Sentinel Master Mold, a robot designed by Trask to build Sentinels. We could also potentially see Stephen Lang, who basically took over Trask Industries' production of Sentinels after Trask died in the comics. But what would you guys like to see in Season 2 of The Gifted? Let me know all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Baby.
understand me now? Sometimes I feel a little mad, but don't you know that no one alive